And we are privileged to have with us Mr. Rama Rao, the Honorable Minister of IT Industries, MANUD, State of Telangana. Thank you, sir, for being with us today. This is a subject which I think becomes extremely important in normal times. And I think the last 3 months has demonstrated to us the importance of technology, how it can disrupt our lives, how it can make our lives better. But like it or hate it, I think there's no avoiding it. And I think that's very clear to organizations, that's clear to us as individuals, and that's certainly clear to government as well. And I think the platforms such as these are also manifestations of how technology can be used to make more efficient use of time, more efficient use of resources, more efficient use of space. So thank you very much for joining us. Uh, Institutions and organizations in the last few months have been, in some sense, propelled into transformation programs, even if they had some of them going on. So it was more like something that you were already doing. You had to do it at a much faster pace because you didn't have a choice. So even as individuals, while all of us have been using technology, I think the last few months has demonstrated the multiple functionalities which we can further use. Technology can also be intrusive, technology can be empowering, technology can also be used to operate at a very, very different level of efficiency. One of the striking features of the last 3, 4 months has also been the engagement with governments that has been enabled through the use of technology, whether at the center or at the state, and how processes have been rewritten to help us deal with each other using technology. So as we talk about this topic and talk about the opportunity, the unique opportunity that we have in India, because not only are we transforming something which is already there, but as India is growing, we have an opportunity to create something which is not there, create something using the learnings that we have from the journeys that other countries have had, create something using the technologies that are available today that may not have been available to the countries who progressed economically before us. India is also uniquely positioned because we have been, in some sense, the IT backbone for the rest of the world, more focused on software than hardware. But I think over the last few months, the importance of having local hardware has also been emphasized. And I think that is getting translated into an opportunity as well. So I would request you, to talk to us not only on your perspective as a person, as a professional, as a minister, on how do you think this is going to be an opportunity for us? How do you think this is going to transform the way we lead our lives beyond what we've seen in the last 3 months? And its relevance not only for you as a professional, as an individual, but also for India and for the state of Telangana, which is now 6 years old. So thank you, sir, once again for joining us. And I hand over to you for your remarks, and we'll come back to you with a Q&A at the end of your remarks. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Very good afternoon to all of you. Thank you to the Confederation of Indian Industry for being a guiding light for many governments, for being the champion of, champion and advocate for policy changes and reforms. In many ways, Confederation of Indian Industry has been partnering with us on several of the reforms that we have been able to successfully bring out in our own state, and I think also that we've been able to highlight to Government of India as well in terms of ensuring that India gets its rightful place in the global manufacturing and global industrial expansion scenario. Now, today's topic on reinventing technology in India and combining the best of local and global talent and innovation and capital is what I've been asked to speak on. Firstly, I'm a strong, very, very strong believer that, if for India really has, because, your topic is on India at 75. In fact, Honorable Prime Minister had convened a meeting June last year on the exact same topic. He had said, how does Naya Bharat banane ke liye, like new India, if we have to really reimagine India, and if we really have to think out of the box, what are the things we ought to be doing is what Honorable Prime Minister asked us. I've been a firm believer in the 3I mantra: innovation, infrastructure, and inclusiveness is what is really going to make new India. Really, that is what I've always believed in, and that is what I've always advocated. And I believe for India really to reach and for India really to actually claim its rightful position in the world, there is no substitute for this mantra. The reason why I say this, Government of India recently, as we all know, after the skirmishes on the India-China border, had banned about 59 apps, digital apps belonging to various Chinese companies, to be allowed in our country. One of the things that I saw, I'm very active on social media. One of the responses I saw from China, and one of the things I think which many of us also, including Anand Mahindraji, saw and responded to was a Chinese national, who heads a large leading public newspaper out there, had tweeted saying, when India banned all these Chinese apps, we also said, let's ban some Indian products. And we looked around in China. Unfortunately, we could not find any. And he said, mere nationalism doesn't make you a great country, India. You better buck up and do something, that you truly are worth, truly are proud of. If that is not a clarion call, if that is not provocation enough for CII and the rest of us in India, I don't know what would be. So the point I'm trying to make, sir, is I think we are known as a great nation which offers fantastic services. We take a lot of pride in Sundar Pichai. We take a lot of pride in Satya Nadella. We take a lot of pride in our amazing abilities as leaders who lead large multinationals and large corporations across the world. But the fact is, India really has not been able to produce since independence world-class products, which we can truly be proud of. Now, I think that is the need of the hour. If you ask me, since we are talking about India at 75, since we are talking about how we should reimagine, sort of redesign, reorient ourselves as a country, looking forward to the post-COVID new world, new normal, I think India really has to challenge itself, push its boundaries. All of us, when I say India, I mean all of us. There are many things that work for us. There are many things that really are going for us. Our workforce is the youngest in the world. We all know that. Our think force is the youngest in the world. As the world is aging, as the world is becoming more and more geriatric, India is getting younger and younger. Today, our median age of our workforce is only 26.8 years. I don't think any other country in the world can boast of it. In spite of the slowdown in population growth, India still continues to have this amazing opportunity to really produce solutions, not just for itself, but for the rest of the world as well. Having said that, I believe this large pool of amazingly talented think force combined with the current situation is what provides a great platform for all of us to relook at what we can do as a country, to relook at what we can offer to the rest of the world as well. I'm extremely proud of what role Hyderabad and Telangana have been playing, even during these crises with Corona, this pandemic. And the world talks about hydroxychloroquine, remdesivir, flavapiravir. Never in our life did we ever think that, we would be going through these unprecedented times and we would be knowing so much of science ourselves, professionals who are into other walks of life, other spheres of life. Never did we imagine. I'm a postgraduate in biotechnology. I also know a bit of biology myself, but never did I imagine that about 25 years after completing my studies, I would have to refresh, rehash, and, start looking at how vaccines are manufactured, etc. The point I was trying to make was, when the world looks at India as a pharmacy hub, when the world looks at India as a vaccine hub, I'm proud to share with you that Hyderabad and Telangana, in fact, are the backbones for the entire country in claiming that position. Today, 1/3 of global vaccines are produced from Hyderabad. More than 35 to 40% of India's bulk drugs and chemicals and pharmaceuticals are also produced from Hyderabad. In fact, our industry here has made us proud. Today, while there are 6 companies in the vaccine race in India, among Indian companies, 4 of them are headquartered in Hyderabad. So that goes to show you the important role Telangana will play post this pandemic as well, and also through this pandemic as well. Now, some of the other things I'm extremely proud of, some of the other things I think we need to talk about, since we are talking technology, since we are talking reinventing ourselves. Technology, as we've all realized in the last 6 months, is something that has become indispensable, and we've come to rely on it heavily. And one of the things I think this technology has provided and has shown us is that it has become ubiquitous. I think ubiquitous broadband, of course, is the need of the hour. I think we've realized we cannot do without it. But at the same time, I think the kind of opportunities this adversity has also thrown up are fascinating, if you ask me. One of the companies that I would like to mention as part of this conversation is Novartis. Novartis in Hyderabad today Novartis is a Basel-based, Europe-based company. We all know that they're headquartered there. But their second largest base in the world today is in Hyderabad. They have nearly 6,000 people working here, and they have an R&D center here. And from here, in fact, they're involved in something extremely fascinating. They're working on the interface between technology and life sciences. They're into digital drug discovery based out of Hyderabad. In fact, to quote one of their leaders, business leaders from Novartis, to paraphrase rather, they had said all the typical R&D with respect to pharma we are doing elsewhere, but anything that has got anything to do with non-pharma R&D, we're getting it done in Hyderabad. So that is the sort of confidence these large multinationals today seem to have in our ThinkForce, and particularly in Hyderabad, where we have shown very successfully to the world that this can be done right from here. Number of things that can be talked about. We have realized how important telehealth is. We've all realized how important it is to have virtual networks in place, robust virtual networks in place, to ensure that our healthcare is provided to the nooks and corners of our country. And we also realized, in fact, during this pandemic, number of initiatives that we have kickstarted about a few years ago. In fact, with World Economic Forum, Government of Telangana has kickstarted an initiative which is really going to change the way we look at how healthcare services are offered. We have a project which is currently underway called as Medicine from the Sky. We leverage drones to deliver blood and also essential drugs to primary healthcare centers and to other facilities across the state. We are currently in a pilot stage, and I do believe this is the way forward for a number of other things that we would like to deliver using technology. Chatbots have shown us also how chatbots can be leveraged to ensure that we give adequate information, because the biggest challenge is fear psychosis. During this pandemic, what we've realized is people are panicking. In fact, even though the fatality is low, people are panicking because of lack of information. So having chatbots give you information, weeding out fake news. Again, all of these things, we have leveraged technology extensively in Telangana, and I'm proud that Telangana has been doing exemplary work on the tech/healthcare convergence, or from the tech/healthcare convergence point of view. Likewise, one of the most important sectors in India for us as a country is agriculture. Now, even on the agri front, Government of Telangana has been doing extensive work leveraging AI and ML, artificial intelligence and machine learning technologies, to help our farmers with agri-tech solutions for a number of things, such as the typical pests that would infect their crops. We also have been providing them effective advocacy. We've also been alerting them to market fluctuations, irregular irrigation patterns, erosion of soil health, etc. All of this, again, a huge role that technology play even in this extremely important sector where more than 60% of our population is currently engaged in. Another very important sector for all of us, all of our children today, most of our children today, in fact, are using online education apps and tools and solutions to continue their education. Now, we as a government are in a bind. We don't know whether to declare this as a 0 year, because we are constantly also getting a pushback from parents saying, including my wife, by the way, let me share this with you, that online education may not be the solution. We ought to be looking at other solutions as well. So therefore, education and how we ought to be looking at different solutions in the digital space to provide, again, similar access and similar quality of discourse to children of all ages, irrespective of their social class or economic background. Now, that is going to remain a huge challenge, and we have a huge opportunity there, again, not just to create solutions for ourselves, but for the rest of the world as well. Likewise, online retail and using robots for deliveries. Again, we've all seen during the pandemic how physical distancing had to be maintained. At the same time, we had to still go out and get essentials and services done. Again, a huge opportunity for India and us as a state, as well as Telangana, to provide fantastic opportunities, because e-commerce has never been so much in demand as it has been in the last 6 months. Now, this again throws up huge opportunities for us as a state, as a country, to improve our logistics networks, to improve our abilities to deliver better, to improve, in fact, our ability also to create employment in newer sectors, newer opportunities that are created by way of going from retail to e-tail. Likewise, we have been hearing news about 5G network and how ICT also has been growing by leaps and bounds. Now, 5G network, of course, we all have been hearing about it. We all have been talking about how 5G and quantum computing and other things that are happening, that the changes happening across the world are going to change the way we live, we work, and we think forever. It's extremely important for India, again, to take a pole position, not to lose out on the advantage of having 5G reach every nook and corner of the country extremely quickly and have a robust network. Again, here is another opportunity where private sector can play a huge role, and I believe this will be crucial in strengthening our position as a technology leader for the rest of the world as well. The last 2 points I'll make before I again hand over the mic to you. I think this challenging times also have shown us that we are resilient enough to continue to work from our homes, continue to work from our own humble abodes, and continue to provide the services that are required to keep the business running. Now, inclusivity during these times is extremely important, because what we've realized is, the less developed towns versus the more developed towns versus, whatever that divides us, the digital divide, the other divides that typically divide us as a society, all of these, again, can be put to rest very effectively. We can bring in new set of people into the workforce as well. Homemakers who have typically been not part of the active, effective workforce can be brought in, is what this crisis has also shown us. And technology can be put to great use to leverage, because we are 1.3 billion, half of whom are, of course, our better halves and women. They've been by and large, as homemakers, kept away, from being a part of active workforce for a number of reasons. But technology also has shown us a way forward in making us more inclusive, in ensuring that these kind of divides are also bridged. And lastly, I would say governance, from a government to government perspective, from state to center, and also from G to C, government to citizen perspective, number of things have come to the fore. Our inadequacies have been exposed. We need to get a lot of things in order, but good news is we have technology to take care of a lot of these challenges. Now, for instance, in Telangana, we use several of the emerging technologies such as blockchain, robotics, AI, like I pointed out, to address a number of issues on the G2C front, the government to citizen front, but a consultative approach with industry partners, with other state governments, with Government of India, with citizens, of course, is what is likely, again, to expedite better service delivery to our people as well. The really last point I'd like to make is, there has been an exodus of companies from China and elsewhere, from large manufacturing countries. Now, again, here is an opportunity for us as a country to leverage technology as we sit on the cusp of 75 years of independence, to ensure that India really truly becomes a product-oriented manufacturing destination, and which can provide solutions not just for itself, like I kept saying, but for the rest of the world as well. We have everything in place, but we need some bold reforms to come in. I've written to Government of India, I've written to the Commerce Minister, I've written to the IT Minister, I've written to the Textiles Minister, I've written to the Health Minister, advocating the cause for bold reforms, the cause for quicker implementation of these reforms, if we really have to ensure that we are able to compete with the best in the world in terms of attracting this manufacturing pie. Having said that, of course, we can continue to discuss many things, but finally, I would say only one thing. I think innovation has no substitute, and we have been so far along in the last 75 years, a very successful services focused country. But I think time has come now for us to focus on innovation and start looking at more products coming out of India, because a small country like South Korea, a smaller country like Japan, today can boast of hundreds of products which are truly world-class and which are in every Indian home today. So India as a country now really starts to dig deeper, introspect more. The Indian industry also needs to challenge itself, cannot be content doing the second grade and the third grade work for the rest of the world. We have to start pushing the envelope, pushing the boundaries, leverage technology extensively and exhaustively, and really use this fantastic opportunity this adversity has thrown at us. So thank you very much for this opportunity, CII. Happy to take questions, comments, suggestions. Cheers.